Tesla drivers are furious right now, and for good reason. The full self-drive capability that they paid for is finally being rolled out, but it's being selectively rolled out to people who drive nicer. Now, I'm going to tell you what the issue is, what the ulterior motive is, and possibly a hack to get around it. So this whole thing started on September 25th when the button was released. Finally, for those who have paid for full self-driving capability, yes, capability, this button appeared. And that button changed everything because now we had a path to get full self-drive, the ever elusive full self-driving capability that will take us from point A to point B, and it is within our grasp. So to evaluate who's going to get full self-drive first, the beta, Tesla came up with a safety score to evaluate out of 100%. So 100 out of 100 is perfect, and it takes 5 things into account. That's your forward collision alert, it is hard braking, aggressive turning, how close you are, like so unsafe following distance, and the big one, which is weighted the most, is the forced autopilot disengagements, where Tesla will knock you out of autopilot because you're not paying attention. This is big, and it seems like it's a reflection of your driving, but to be honest, it might not be. So owners are upset because they've paid for this product, the full self-driving, years ago. Some are brand new, so like you might be like me and my new Plaid, where I paid $8,000 because I got in early before they raised it to $10,000. People have paid $10,000 for this capability that right now can only like change lanes for you and take you on the on-ramp to the off-ramp, which is not bad, but you still have to have your hand on the wheel like all the time. It's like wild. I can understand, and I am in this boat where I'm kind of upset that I've paid for it and it's still not being delivered. No refunds for it after 48 hours. If you sell the car, you don't get to keep it. It's a little perplexing that this is, you know, something that I've paid for, but they won't give me access to it. It's still in beta after all these years. My old Tesla, the 2017, had it. That's when they really first started coming out with it, 2017, 2016. And it's just like, boy, that's wonderful. Like, and by wonderful, I mean, it's not wonderful. It means that they're taking such a long time to deliver on the promises that have already been paid for. So that's number one why people are upset. And now with this button that you are finally able to get there after all this time, there are still more hoops and more waiting time to go through. And it seems like the safety score is not treating people fairly. So you think that you're just driving around and everything's fine. You're following somebody, you know, at a good pace, and you will have the best safety score. And then somebody kind of pulls out in front of you and you stop at a decent pace, but then you go and check your safety score and bam, you're screwed. Your safety score is all messed up. What the heck happened? You responded properly and within reason. You want to know something really funny here is doing a pull like this. So we are in drag strip Plaid mode and doing an actual pull on here does not hurt it. Whee! As long as you do not hit the brakes, so you let the car use its regen brakes, and you're not coming up on somebody like right up their ass, you will not have any ding to your safety score. Yes, that sounds insane, right? Because that was definitely not safe and very questionably illegal. It's like doing stupid things in a safe manner. So that's the real kicker, that you can do all that, but then there's other stuff like just normal traffic that dings your safety score that you respond perfectly fine to. reasonable, prudent, but you get your butt kicked in the safety score, and you are just so far away from that 100 out of 100 to be one of the first guys through. I mean, you're not even close to 99 or 98. They're going to release 1,000 people a day on it, and you look like you're going to be seeing it in a year or two. Or also Elon Musk's 2 weeks. So there are just some conditions that no matter how safe of a driver you are, that it won't matter. That it is just not safe. And even if autopilot's engaged or not, there are just these things, and I think that's what Teslas are really evaluating. They are telling you that it's like a reflection on your driving and, you know, how safe you are, because they want you to drive as safe as possible, absolutely as safe as possible. But really, they want you to do that so they can get a good baseline of how safe the area that you're driving in is, and that's what's happening. That's why, and they should tell people that, but then they wouldn't get the same result. So really, I think that's the ulterior motive here. And well, I was a little bit upset about it, you know, because my safety score is it's just horrible. Like, it's horrible compared to how, you know, I do drive, like when I'm driving super safe. But what I have kind of figured out here is it pretty much doesn't matter, because I drive in an area where rush hour traffic sucks, and I will never be one of the first people that full self-drive will be, you know, activated for, at least not in a beta setting. Tesla is going to try to go to levels. Like, if you have 100 out of 100, you are in such an easygoing area and driving in easy times that the autopilot is going to be super successful and learn things. And if you have a situation where you're like a 70 out of 100 and you're really trying, well, that's probably a really hard area to drive in, like New York City or something like that. And it is going to be tough to accomplish the things that it needs to. So why would they want to start there? It's kind of like, let's level up. Now, they're not going to tell you that and make everybody happy, because then it would defeat the purpose. But I think that's the actual motive of Tesla in this safety score, because what it really seems to be is it's a safety score of the area, not of you as a driver. You can drive as safe as you want, and you're still going to have like a disaster of a safety score if you live in a disaster area. So the moment you guys are all waiting for, what is the workaround when some jerk pulls out in front of you, or you're just driving in rush hour traffic and you feel like you're being unfairly disadvantaged with the full self-drive? First, I just want to tell you that the Tesla score is updated once you park and get out of the car and close the door and walk away. That's the criteria that sends it all off and evaluates your score. So how do we interrupt that? Well, let's go for a test drive right now. We're going to test it out right now, and I'm going to tell you that one of the things that for your score is you need to drive 0.1 of a mile. Then it gets counted. Well, we're going to drive a little bit more than that, do what I think, and see if it gets counted. So because I want to make this like really, really interesting, I'm going to bomb this score. Like, bomb it. I'm going to hit the brakes like full on and do an actual hard brake and really sacrifice myself here. It may or may not bite me if I'm wrong on this theory, but here we go. So I'm gonna drive a little bit more aggressive than even normal. I actually do not drive like a maniac, although I do like some sharper turns. But oh, squirrel. Boxes everywhere. Okie dokie. So that's a hard brake. That one is gonna flip the switch on this system hardcore. And what I'm gonna do right now to minimize it, I'm going to try to do this in view here, is I'm going to hold this with my chin. I hope I got that, but I reset the system. Now I'm pretty sure that this run won't count. And let's go race that BMW. So I've reset the system. It doesn't know what's up. This came to me when my car did not log a certain very nice drive this morning, because the system had like reset right before I got into it. So I'm thinking that what we're going to see right now is that my safety score, which is 425 right now, will not have any reflection. Let's check it out. I'm going to pull up my phone. Once I come to a stop, I'm going to pull up my phone and see if that hard braking is on it. And if not, it won't have made it into this video. So, moment of truth. Actually, I'm lying. I already looked and it was successful. Man, this is great. I just drove all that time. I did the hard brake. I did all of it and it didn't count. It didn't show up. It wasn't that I got a perfect score. It just didn't count. So that's your trick. Shit happens. You drive in rush hour and you always get the forward collision alert, or somebody pulls out in front of you and you're on your brakes. Like, reset the computer. There's your answer. That's how you get around some of it. I'm not saying that you should do it and kind of cheat the system, because remember, trying to come out with, like, you know, better conditions, but I'm saying that that is the solution to kind of get around it. Meaning, like, maybe like in those conditions where you're not doing so hot in the score, maybe you shouldn't try to use full self-drive on that until we start hearing the people that are like getting 87s and 85s or something like that into the beta are getting. So I think that's what you want to do. Again, that's because it's not necessarily a reflection on you. It's a reflection on the conditions that you're driving in. So be conscious of that if you're going to use this to try to, you know, jump ahead. See ya.